Fellow Ghanaians, we've been here before, especially with this South Africa and this xenophobia attacks. Xenophobic violence against African nationals in South Africa is not an aberration or some isolated outbreak. It is a recurring pattern, a documented, repeated generational pattern of South Africans visiting violence on other Africans, and of the South African government responding with a kind of measured, carefully worded condemnation that is just sufficient to cause sympathy without being serious enough to actually fight those crimes. If the perpetrators of xenophobic violence in South Africa face the full and unsparing weight of the criminal justice system, if arrests were swift, prosecutions were vigorous, and sentences exemplary, perhaps people will not do the same things over and again. People who know that attacking a foreign national will cost them years of their freedom will make different choices than people who know that the worst likely outcome is a stern statement from cabinet ministers. The South African government has not been serious about this, and the repetition of this violence is the direct consequence of the lack of seriousness by the South African government when it comes to fighting this xenophobia. Fellow Ghanaians, we've seen it over and again. But beyond the government's failure to enforce consequence, there's also the historical reckoning that South Africans have consistently failed to have with itself, and that reckoning cannot be deferred indefinitely without a cost to the moral standing of that country in the eyes of the continent that made it possible for it to be liberated.